Unless you lived through the late 80s and early 90s, it's hard to appreciate how Guns N' Roses conquered the music world. This was before streaming or the internet, so the metrics were album sales and the length of the lines outside the record stores to get the concert tickets. Guns N' Roses was on top for years. To be at that concert on that night to see that opening act that would soon become the biggest band in the world was an experience I will never forget. Even now, I can remember feeling like I was privileged to be at a very special moment in time. Now, more than 30 years later, I have that same feeling, only this time it's God who's blowing my mind, not a rock band. Over the last 5 years at a secondary boarding school in Jinja, Uganda, I have seen God redeeming and transforming a generation of young people who will change their communities by how they live for Him. I've not only seen what we are called to do as followers of Jesus, but how we are to do it. Serving in Uganda has put all the diverse experiences of my life into the right perspective. The pursuit of happiness has been a popular theme for as long as anyone can remember. There's an avalanche of books and seminars and studies from both secular and religious writers alike, and they all claim to show the way to joyful enlightenment. Now, in our age of digital media, we have podcasts and YouTube videos repackaging the same messages. Much, if not most, of this content fails its audience because it suggests in one way or another that we are in complete control of our own joy and can get there out of our own effort and strength. If that were true, however, I think the world would look a lot differently than it does today. There is no 10-step program or self-help strategy to lasting joy and a contented life. The better way comes from the promises of Jesus and the transforming power of the Holy Spirit. To receive these promises and to receive the full joy of the Christian life, we first have to make a decision. Do we believe that Jesus and the life He has promised is better than what the world is offering? All throughout my life, I have heard the world telling me that happiness comes from money, power, and fame. So the solutions are simple. Make more money, seek more power, and do whatever it takes to be known. Unfortunately, some churches have tried to package that set of solutions together with the idea of the Christian life. My question is, how's that working out? I don't think I've ever seen Americans more unhappy than they are today, and this is at a time when we have more of everything our culture is naming as the solution. All of us, at times, have struggled to find joy in this world. Why? Because we don't have a good understanding of the obstacles and perspectives that hold us back, and because we fail to see how the ways of our me-first culture lead only to defeat. Here's a paradox. On one hand, we have access to an abundance of good biblical teaching and theology, but on the other hand, Western Christians don't look much like the Jesus we profess to follow. To put it simply, we have great difficulty with sincere obedience. If you're serious about growing your faith and experiencing God in a deeper way than ever before, this is the most important book you've ever read. Maybe this is a good time to admit I'm also prone to exaggeration sometimes. It's impossible to exaggerate, however, the grace of God's plan to reconcile creation to Himself and the grace of His plan for us to enjoy Him and enjoy life as we fulfill our created purpose. Do you want to experience extraordinary joy? God tells us what to do, how to do it, and offers us the strength to make it happen. Despite this reality, we still resist and revert to doing things our way instead of His way. Maybe we don't like to surrender control. Maybe we can't let go of what culture has taught us. Maybe our churches have given us a picture of a legalistic God who's more concerned about rules than about love, grace, and joy. Or maybe we have never fully grasped the role of the Holy Spirit in our growth and transformation. Whatever our misunderstandings are, or where they are from, most Christians miss out on the full and joyful life God has promised. I'm a former software executive who has spent the last 5 years in Uganda working as the Dean of Student Life at a unique boarding school, serving teenagers from challenging backgrounds. Living in a developing country and sharing the gospel in an honor and shame culture has helped me better understand the issues the world is facing. The underlying problems in Uganda are not greatly different from the underlying problems in the Western world, but they do manifest themselves differently here. This contrast has led to an important and helpful clarity, for which I am grateful. I haven't been less busy in Uganda than I was in the United States.